Hello, everyone. Welcome back. BPL Season 3, Round of 16, Group B, Round 2. This is the losers final. And yeah, I am excited. So this is Contra versus XFactorLive. I think Contra losing versus Teddy was not expected, but maybe like a little bit more foreseen. But X Factor losing to Modulo, I think, was a little bit more surprising for some people. So I think everyone is excited to see how this plays out. And unfortunately, the loser of this goes home. There's a do not pass go, do not collect $200. I am blessed by Zateo.
Hello.
Talk to me about these. I know you're rooting for Contra, but
Yes.
How do you feel about this matchup? How do you think it's going to go?
I don't know because I mean, X Factor's of course a very strong player, but I'm not sure how practiced he is, and with the shenanigans that kind of happened with the game with Modulo, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, the 1 minute and the 1 minute and 40-second game. I was not prepared for that one either.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of how Group B is looking, if we want to take a quick gander. So if you look at the matches, it's pretty funny, right? Because high OS is left and low OS is right. And it turns out everyone with high OS has beaten their lower OS compatriots. So if we're looking at the numbers, Contra just wins this, right?
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I guess that does kind of mean that X Factor, either hasn't been performing or just hasn't been playing as much. So, there's good reason behind that.
That's true. Yeah, actually. I mean, I know he's been complaining about like the auto group bug and stuff, but I mean, as a fellow American, I think if the numbers look like this and everyone on the right loses automatically, do we even need to play these games? Can we just give Contra the win and move on? Is that
screw it. We'll just give him the try.
Right? Is that not how that works? I'm confused. I guess that's not how that works. Okay. Fair enough. So Contra, as the higher OS player, does get first ban. And what does our boy want? We've seen him ban, I think, Shallow Straits. We've seen him ban Theta. We've seen him ban, I don't know if I've seen him ban Fallendell. Why do you think he's banning Fallendell?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably just another map where it's just not quite as either not as familiar or feels a little weaker on it.
Okay.
I haven't really seen him play it too much, so I don't really know.
Okay.
If there's anything specific,
Yeah, that totally makes sense. It is. I mean, I think a lot of these players have probably scouted each other, so they're familiar or they just kind of know what's happening, and so
right. Yeah, it could be like a meta thing where it's like, well, I know X Factor's strong in this way on that map, so let's go. Let's get rid of that map right now. Don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, and X Factor with the Shallow Straight ban. Shoddy played straights a bunch of times, and I almost just want him to go deep in the tournament just so that we get to see more of that map, because it feels like everyone hates
games.
It. Yeah, for sure. And Contra with the Cirolata pick. All right, so this is the second most popular map, if I recall correctly. So yeah, I'm excited to see kind of how this pans out. Do you think, I feel like Cirolata is a relatively standard map, high wind. I think we've seen more ARM just because of the wind play, but I think you can play really anything on it. Thoughts for it or comments for it? Oh, I hear us starting. Hold on, let me hop in.
All right.
And so we see cross spawns, right? So these cross spawns, we've seen quite a few games actually. Earlier in this bracket, we saw the same side spawn, I think, between X Factor and Modulo. So how do you feel about the cross spawns?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what compels a person to go on the left side or the right side. I think, like say like in X Factor's position, it's a little bit easier to defend that back set of 3 mexes than on the left side, right? So I think the same thing basically happens on the other side of the map, and so it kind of makes sense to me that it would be a little bit more cross spawn positions. But yeah, cross spawns are pretty interesting because you basically want to control the center, but there's so many different avenues of attack then, because you can go left or you can go right, and you don't have to go down the center. So a lot of raiding can happen with these spawns.
Okay. And I think from what I've seen for a lot of the cross spawns also, I feel like mid is more contested in the cross spawns just because it's the direct path. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. And we've got core vehicles versus arm bots.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I mean, I think the bots are a little bit more favored here because of the hills, but we'll see what X Factor cooks up here. Definitely a vehicle enjoyer.
And Modula with kind of like the pretty early aggression. This is sort of like the classic Contra 7-tick 1 con opening.
Right.
X Factor with that is like one of the earliest nanos I've seen. Doesn't seem like a really early
Yeah, that's
nano?
pretty crazy. I mean, I think he can get away with it because of the high wind right now.
That's true. Wind is 25 wind is just unreal. And he's dropping his radar now, but he's gonna as soon as it's up, he's gonna have a real rough surprise. He's like, wait a minute, there's a bunch of ticks here.
Yeah, and I like that they're going in the backside here. Not quite as expected.
Rascal gets the first tick, and these other ticks are harassing the con.
Nice fast response here from X Factor.
Yeah, I mean, he gets caught. Oh, wow. Okay, so I thought that was going to do way more damage. He kind of picks off some of Contra's stuff here.
Yeah, that was some brilliant micro right there.
And Contra's dropping his own radar. It looks like he's swapping more into pawn. So he makes a little bit of an adjustment here, and he says, hey, I'm fighting these core vehicles. I think I want to swap into pawns sooner. And he's got some defensive expansions here, right? So he's going to drop an LLT before he gets any of the mexes in the north.
Yeah, I've seen Contra favor getting that tower first, just to make sure that it's, no funny business is going to happen in the meantime. But yeah, it looks like X Factor is scouting to the north here. Has a couple of those rascals moving up. But yeah, he's not going to really get anything done because of that LLT there. Yeah, meanwhile, it looks like X Factor has to defend with an incisor. He does catch that pawn there. And
he scouted out, so he sees that Contra isn't in the normal spawn, so he's gonna, or isn't in the same side spawn, so he's gonna go to the counter spawn and see. And X Factor still has his calm in base. Contra is calm walking to the south. He takes those 3 mexes, and then he's going to drop a bit more. Oh, and here come the scouts. Let's see what X Factor can see.
Yeah, I've seen this build on a few maps where, you kind of go out, like you go vehicle, you get your 3 mexes early, and then, you walk out, grab 3 more, and then walk back. And that gives you this nice solid, like, timing of incisors. Because you're using that extra build power of the commander. But on this map, if you're able to get that fast nano, I don't know if there's really a need to really go back to do that. And so I kind of see him boosting his lab here, but he doesn't really have the metal to boost it with.
Yeah, I mean, it's the classic, why would you boost something if you don't have the resources for it?
Right. I mean, either way, he has a lot of tanks out now. And, Contra is probably going to get some pressure here in a moment.
Contra dropping a couple of nanos of his own. He has 3 nanos now, and he is M-stalling, but bots are pretty light on metal, so he's going to be able to drop a lot of pawns out when he needs them.
Yeah, assuming that the wind stays high, he should be okay. But yeah, this is actually going to be a really strong incisor push here from X Factor. We'll see how Contra reacts here. He really needs a radar badly. Or I say that he's just putting one down now.
Yeah, he sees all the dots, and off the speed, he has to know that they're incisors, right? I mean, they're too slow to be rascals, they're too fast to be stouts, or too fast to be brutes, sorry.
Yeah, so this is a very rough situation to be in. And in fact, a lot of players will, downright say that this is like, it kind of feels impossible in a way to defeat this kind of force.
Just because the pawns don't trade quite as well into incisors?
Right. Yeah, incisors do really good work on pawns and grunts especially. But yeah, can do pretty well against pawns too.
Yeah, that is 17 incisors, and they are fighting 13 pawns. That is not the side that you want to be on. Contra's going to pull his commander and start to come up, and this could be D-gun heaven.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Okay.
What? Oh man, APM stall or something. You don't want that to happen. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if he saw him. I wasn't looking at his vision, but wow, that's beautiful.
Nuts.
And
yeah. So
one D-gun, eight incisors, I think.
Something like that, something crazy like that. But yeah, I mean, Contra's pretty good with his D guns too, so it's kind of scary. But yeah, there's still quite a few incisors out here, so we'll see what Contra's pawns can do to him.
Yeah,
he's got to slow this down.
Yeah, I mean,
otherwise those incisors are just gonna rush in, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to cut it back. I think he's doing reasonably well here. He did pick off, 4 incisors? And he's got more. He has a good flanking position, so we are seeing quite a bit of flanking damage here. I don't think it's enough, though, right? There's just too many incisors?
Yeah, there's some good flanking damage from the incisors as well, so... yeah, a lot of them left over still. But lots of wrecks, too, so once this gets cleaned up, Contra will have the ability to basically have that army.
And XFactor is reinforcing in, though, so there's 13 incisors here total. He tried to push up that hill, but between the slower move speed and the LLTs, he's going to get pushed back. So he does kill this expanding con, picks off the LLT there, so he stops any further eastward expansion, but I think there's still a little bit of a battle going on here, and Contra is very far ahead in terms of energy production and slightly ahead in terms of metal production, but I think that's even a little bit deceptive because he has res bots and there's a lot of wrecks up top.
Yeah, right. It really comes down to like how well these incisors do. Like, are they able to do even more damage? Can he maybe get a con over there, or maybe switch into res bots himself? Because that's going to be a sizable wreck field now.
He's trying.
Yeah, getting he more damage in. Yeah.
He gets quite a bit, but and the brute transition. Do you feel like it's a little early for the brute transition or no?
Yeah, I mean, I would call this early personally, especially because with, against pawns, like you don't know if there's some on the other side of the map that can potentially raid you as well. And medium tanks are just not great at dealing with that. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe he's thinking he can have this nice like frontal assault if Contra's too weak after, being attacked by those incisors.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little scary for XFactor because Contra's commander is holding mid right now and he's tapping all those mexes. That's a lot of metal. So he's going to have mid mexes and the reclaim up top, and he can either res it or eat it and brute into
well, this is really the strength of having mid is just being able to choke that off so that the units have to go around. And medium tanks, you can't really field a ton of medium tanks all at the same time. So like, it's going to be really hard for XFactor to apply any pressure on the bottom, and it's going to be hard for him to reinforce this once Contra moves his commander to like cut off the reinforcements.
Yeah, and he's moving his comm right now, so he's going to be able to start degunning the brutes that are there. He's got a lot of res bots. What is this? He's got 7 res bots behind that are going to res all of this. So XFactor's in a really precarious situation, right?
Yeah, I think he lost his momentum once those res bots started coming out. Like he needed to keep him off those wrecks.
It's one of those hard things though, where it's like you don't want to pull back your army because then you give up wreck control, but...
take a look at what's flying.
Huh?
What is that?
I'm sorry, what am I?
What are we looking at here?
Are these empty?
Oh, I think he was going to go collect some units, but yeah, XFactor.
Wait, what? XFactor? What? I'm sorry.
I don't even know what happened there.
So XFactor.
So I was looking at the transports.
What? Okay, what? What? Okay, so hold on. XFactor. Okay.
Did he just like see air and like call it or what?
No, I think he knew that he lost wreck control and he knew that Contra had mid, right? So he's like, oh, I'm really far behind. I don't know that.
Yeah. I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall. Like, we were both definitely saying that it was going to be really hard for him.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
man, what were those transports doing though?
Yeah, that I feel like we might need to we might need to ask Contra what's going on there. That's a little.
We need to ask an AI to like paint the rest of the picture for us.
Yeah, what happens after that? Okay, so Contra takes game 1 on Cirillata versus X Factor, and we are going to go into a game 2, and game 2 is going to be picked by X Factor, and we will see you there momentarily.